Hi, Frank Duncan here with Flyshack, and today we are traveling out to a fishing expo, and we're tying some flies in the car. So give you guys a little heads up on how to tie in a car. So tying a fly is pretty much the same as normal, except that you need to keep everything compartmentalized and only play with what you have to have out. So if you look at my setup, all sorts of little pockets going on. This is just a travel case that you'd use for business stuff in between seats in the car. Inside I've got a little tying platform with all my tools and materials and goodies. I keep my hooks in a magnetic box. And then in front of me I've been tying up little caddis patterns. So I have my beads in front of me, my hooks in my magnetic case, and I've got my standard threads and material and so on and so forth. The other big deal of tying in the car is where do you put your flies as you're moving on? And the answer is hackle pliers. You want hackle pliers. Lots and lots and lots of hackle pliers. So, we're going to tie one up here. First time I tried this, I was tying size 22 and 24 thread bitches. And I made the mistake of dumping a bunch of beads out and a bunch of hooks into my hand and trying to set up hooks and beads together. And before I knew it, I had hooks everywhere. I had beads everywhere.
Right.
As we all know, tungsten beads are not cheap. So, after cutting out what hooks I could find from the upholstery and the carpet of the 250, I decided to go to the magnetic box.
Good idea.
And I only take one out at a time. If I was at home, I would probably put beads on a couple of dozen hooks and then go through steps of tying each fly, and on the road, one at a time. It's the way to go. The other part is you're bouncing around the whole time, so you need to do simpler patterns. You don't want to do anything too complicated.
No married wings?
Well, whatever's simple to you. So I'm sticking more to nymphs, simple streamers. Not really doing any dries. But to qualify that, I haven't actually tried tying a fly.
Not a dry.
A dry fly, yeah. So, but other than that, it's pretty standard. Get yourself clamped up. The one thing that you do want to kind of pay attention to is the point of the hook and the fact that you're bouncing around. So I've stuck myself more than a few times doing this, but if you have your hook set a little extra back in the vise, you're not going to get yourself too bad. So we're just wrapping the hook shank right now. The other part you want to be careful with is, pay attention to the road. If you're on a really rough road, maybe it's not the time to use the scissors. One of the flies I did earlier today, I was awful glad I had my sunglasses on because I poked my sunglasses with my scissors.
Always use protection.
But, in the fishing world, you gotta do what you gotta do. Just tie it in a little. Just gonna lock that down. Looks like I got a little extra towards the head. Trimming off a little extra. So you see how I had to rest the scissors against my hand, and that simple little thing of cutting off that extra just became more complicated. The other thing I do when I'm tying in the car is throughout the pattern I will keep locking it down. If I were tying at home, I probably would finish this and cut it off and go back at it later. But in the car, you don't know when you're going to have to stop, or things get all bumpy and you lose control and stuff. So locking it down more often than not is pretty important. So we got some body material on there. Come back around and I'm just going to make a little collar.
In 1 mile, take exit 2040 on the right to US 20 West.
I'm going to go ahead and whip finish that again. Sure it's good and snug. And then again, I'm going to kind of rest the scissors against my other hand to steady everything out. Because I don't know if you can see it, but we're bouncing around a little bit here. Trim everything off, and I'm done.
Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome. Good luck out there, guys.